What's going on, my fellow Kino Lords? So I just got out of a screening for Asteroid City, which is the new Wes Anderson film. I'm rocking my brand new Life Aquatic shirt that Jen bought me. I am in love with it. It is fantastic. But yeah, obviously I was excited to see this film. We all love Wes Anderson. We have just been so accustomed to his constructed, quirky, and cinematically symmetrical style that we all love. And you know, I didn't know anything about Asteroid City, but I just kind of knew what to expect stylistically going into this. And I gotta say, Asteroid City is obviously a very pleasant experience. I mean, it gives you everything that you would want out of a Wes Anderson film. He has not changed at all in terms of his cinematic presentation. It's all there. Again, in terms of his cinematography, it's very symmetrical and very smooth with all of his tracking shots and his quick pans and his zoom ins and zoom outs. All of that is very much there, and every time he's there doing this, I am always going to be there experiencing it, because it's just such a pleasant experience. Like, it's always just a fun, wholesome, and pleasant experience, and Asteroid City is no different. It delivers on all those fronts. You know, character-wise, it's all there. You got that Wes Anderson dialogue that is very subtle and clever, and it just puts a smile on your face throughout the entire experience. And yeah, I mean, this film is starring everybody in Hollywood. Wes Anderson is just known for having like just a billion A-list actors in this film. I think the only ones that, at least on the top of my head, that are brand new to being in Wes Anderson's films are Tom Hanks and Matt Dillon. There's probably a few others in there, but those are the two that stand out. And they're both great here. They both did a great job embodying that Wes Anderson quirky type of character writing. And yeah, like, one thing that I will say that separates Asteroid City from Wes Anderson's previous works is that this takes a lot more of a self-aware meta type of approach to its storytelling and presentation. Because, as I kind of mentioned, in all of Wes Anderson's films, he has this very obviously constructed world that isn't really representative of reality at all. But you just can't help but be immersed in it regardless. But in this one, he kind of establishes that what you are experiencing in terms of the world that's crafted is merely theatrics. And I thought that was a really interesting way to go about it. Because, you know, again, as opposed to the other ones, he kind of expects you just to roll with the world. And in this one, he's outright saying, oh yeah, the world's fake. It's basically just a stage play, and we're just kind of here experiencing it. And even when he does that, it works really well on a different kind of level that we haven't really experienced quite yet with him. And I thought that was a unique touch to it that I really, really enjoyed. And obviously, like, with that premise, he explores a lot of different things with it, but overall, it was just a nice, different kind of touch. It was a little bit of a change of pace, in terms of stylistic presentation, and even, like, thematically speaking, it was a bit different, and I really dug it. I gotta say, I really did dig that approach. Thematically speaking, I also quite dug it, because this is a film that, you know, decides to tackle existentialism in a lot of different ways in terms of how these characters are coping with the reality that they live in, whether it's kind of coping with the reality of them understanding how small we are in comparison to the universe, you know, trying to deal with the fact that there are other life forms beyond us. Again, it's a practice in existentialism, but in ways that isn't really all that in your face. It's very smooth within this film's story and characters. And there's even like a moment in this film that is one of the more artsier and interpretive moments in terms of what this film is saying thematically. And it's a scene that we get in the third act involving Willem Dafoe, and Adrian Brody and Edward Norton and a crowd of people. But basically, again, it's a very meta, fourth wall breaking, interpretive type of moment for what this film is meaning thematically. And I thought it was really interesting. I really thought it was interesting. And even myself, like, this one actually has me thinking a little bit more than I usually am with most Wes Anderson films. And I'm not trying to say that Wes Anderson's films, you know, aren't thought-provoking in general, but this one offers a sequence that is one of the more thought-provoking sequences that I've seen in any of his films up until now. Yeah, really dug that. There's also a sequence that we get about halfway in that, again, I don't really want to say in detail what it is, but I'll just say that in terms of what this film is exploring about extraterrestrial life, there's a scene involving that, like, about halfway through the film, and it was just such a, again, like, even for Wes Anderson, was quite different from what we were seeing. Like, it's silly, but at the same time, kind of frightening, but at the same time, humorous, and at the same time, wholesome. And it was just a weird kind of scene that I really appreciated. You know, it might be a scene that will be actually divisive amongst people that watch it, because as I was watching it, I was like, wow, Wes Anderson is really going there. And I really dug it. And again, I think the fact that this film has that kind of meta approach and kind of establishes right out of the gate that this is, you know, just a stage play that we're watching, basically. I think maybe it kind of helps the audience to kind of be on board for what it's doing, especially in that moment. But yeah, I mean, personally, this film is one of the better Wes Anderson films, in my opinion. It's really hard to say that it's like top tier Wes Anderson, because he has so many films that I would consider to be top tier. But it is up there. I do think that it is a great film that a lot of people are going to just have so much enjoyment with. And I really have a hard time imagining that people are going to be underwhelmed by it, because it just delivers everything that you would really want out of a film, while also presenting little creative different touches that we haven't really seen in previous works from him. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Jason Schwartzman in this film, I do have to say, he's really great. He's always great in his films. I don't know if it was just me, but something about his photographer character and his accent and just his beard and face, it reminded me a lot of like a Stanley Kubrick impression. Again, I don't know if that's just me, but I thought it was kind of cool to see that. But anyway, yeah, everybody involved in this film was fantastic. I don't really have to go into that, really. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'll give Asteroid City, it's tough. I'll give it a very strong 8 out of 10 for now. Maybe upon rewatch, it'll go up to a 9, but for right now, I'll be a little bit reserved and give it a strong 8. But it was really great. I enjoyed it. Again, it's probably one of the more, I mean, it definitely is the most vibrant and most like bright and, you know, kind of saturated type of film look that I've seen in any of his previous works, and it worked quite well. Again, it's very bright and cartoony, but with that kind of approach and that presentation, that kind of meta approach that I mentioned, it really makes a lot of things in this film work, and I'm really glad that he did go with that route. But yeah, that's all I really say about the film, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed my thoughts. I hope everybody that goes out to see it really enjoys it. But if you really enjoyed what I had to say, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film related content.